What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing well today. And let me tell you, this is going to be a fun video, really interesting because I want to do more community posts, and it's really fun interacting with you guys and asking some questions. And I also realize a lot of people just maybe watch the channel on TV or, through a tablet or something, and maybe a lot of people don't pay attention to community posts or don't have access to them. So that's totally understandable. So in a broad audience, this might seem really interesting, and for some of you, you might be like, hey, I answered this, I've already seen this, but just work with me here. I think this is really interesting. I like doing different types of videos more than just reactions. I like doing a lot of interactive videos with you, the viewers. So we're going to look at something really, really cool, and that is that I've learned Australia is an amazing country, beautiful, big, expansive, and on top of it, amazing people. But amongst all that Australia has, what does it need but doesn't have or doesn't have yet? Answer down below. That was my question a little under 2 weeks ago to you guys, and here we go. We have a lot of answers. We're not going to go through every single one, obviously, but I'm going to pick some cool ones and give my input, and maybe also a lot of these might relate to the U.S. as well, because the U.S., again, is a great country, but it has a lot of problems. Really interesting topic, and it's fun. It's fun to pick people's brains. So right away, we have a pretty good ranked comment here from Sean, and he says, a decent interconnection between the states and territories. There's only one sealed road into the Northern Territory from each of its three neighbors, SA, WA, and of course Queensland. There's also only one sealed road into Western Australia from South Australia. That's pretty crazy, right? As for rail, there's only one rail line into the Northern Territory in Western Australia, and they share the same track through part of SA. 4 inches of rain a few weeks back wiped out that bit of track, and the road from SA into the NT, leading to the Air Force and the RFDS delivering food. Take the piss out of us for our internet, but think about the cost and logistics to provide infrastructure, parentheses, road, rail, internet, utilities, hospitals, etc., to an entire continent with only a population of a decent-sized city to fund it. There. So he has a clip of the flooding. I will look at that at another time. That sounds really bad. And I think this is a really well put together comment. Because as American, the one thing that is different here is the road connection. So America extremely lacks some transportation. I will give you that. Public transportation surprisingly is not good here. There's a lot of things that we could do better for interstate travel, because we're big just like you guys, and there's ways it could be better. But I will give America one thing. The United States has, I think, a pretty good highway system, and there's a lot of ways into every state from the neighboring state. Obviously, your states are a lot bigger. There's a lot less, so they're bigger. But, yeah, it is pretty shocking to hear when, like, for example, South Australia and Western Australia only have one way in to Western Australia from South Australia. That's, at least on a paved road, that is. That, to me, as an American, sounds pretty crazy. I'll admit it. So, again, it comes to, yes, Australia is almost, basically the same size as the contiguous 48 in the United States. So it's a huge landmass. But, of course, it's a lot less populated. And, when it comes down to it, most of the people live on the coast. So it's going to be hard to justify and even get the funds and infrastructure to be able to have a lot more roads, connecting the Northern Territory and parts of Western Australia and South Australia. So given my input here, I think these are really interesting. I'm not an expert in anything. I'm definitely not a politician. This is just for fun. This is to spark conversation with you guys. And you got to add to this in the comments down below, and we can figure out some solutions down there as well. Larry Longprong has, I knew this was coming because this is a given, and I'm 100% going to agree with this. So what does Australia need but doesn't have? Larry says a decent politician. There it is. I'm going to say, go out on a whim here and say, well, that's like kind of like a unicorn. It just doesn't exist. This one's really cool from Reaver Studios. This is a car-related one, so I like seeing this. Reaver Studios says, Australia definitely needs more of the IWrocker family. Hey, Shout out to you. I appreciate that. More family videos coming up very soon. It's been kind of a long gap, so I appreciate the patience. Australia needs more Dodge Vipers and Corvettes, I think. I've always loved the Dodge Viper since Gran Turismo 1 was released, but they are over 100,000 in Oz and are pretty rare. Well, I hate to break it to you, Dodge Vipers are over 100,000 here in the U.S. too, brand new at least, although they don't really make them anymore, I guess. But the latest years still go for over 100K used. They're very expensive. They always have been. You can get 90s Vipers maybe for 30 to 50,000, maybe. But they're getting rare too. They are an amazing car. They're one of my favorite cars of all time. They're just super rare, even here in America. You rarely see them. Really cool. Corvettes are way more common, but they're still exotic. They, in my opinion, you don't see them every day. And some people added their thoughts. They said Dodge Challengers and Chargers would be awesome. That sounds crazy to me because Challengers and Chargers are excellent cars, in my opinion. I'm a big Mopar guy, and it is shocking to hear that there's not a lot of those at all in Australia. So shame on Chrysler for that. They should definitely convert some to right-hand drive and send some over there. Challenger Hellcats and Red Eyes, and even the Scat Packs, just like a simple SRT Challenger, a non-Hellcat, any of them are great. They're just amazing. The Hemi sounds incredible. I agree that Australia needs a little bit more of the Mopars and some American exotics like the Corvette and Viper. I think you guys would love them. And Dylan's Rim says, a well-written constitution for the people. Well, I do not know much about the Constitution of Australia, or I obviously haven't read it or anything, so I'm not going to weigh in on that. Americans are the one thing I like here is Americans are, for the most part, usually well-versed somewhat in the Constitution, our amendments, our rights, and it's really relevant. So, of course, government can always mess with you, and, those in power can always abuse things or forget about your rights, in certain situations. But for the most part, it's withheld, and as long as you know your rights, you can usually be able to defend them. One, as American, I could say yes. Always know your rights. Daniel James says high-speed rail, east-west, and north-south. This one hits close to home right away. First of all, that sounds amazing in Australia, just because I've learned how big it is and how long it can take to go from, these certain popular areas to another one. So I can totally see a high-speed rail being on everyone's wish list that wants to travel at all. That sounds amazing. And, dude, we want this in America as well. I wish America had this. I really think we should be able to have this. A huge country and lots of popular places that people want to go to quicker than a 2 or 3 day drive. It's a pain in the neck. It really is. A lot of people can't afford to get that time off or even want to do that. To think if I could hop on a high-speed rail and go from, Chicago to Miami, Florida really, really quickly, or, you could go from Las Vegas, Nevada to El Paso, Texas in like no time or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is so many cool scenarios where a high-speed rail would just be just amazing. That one, it just blows my mind that we haven't figured that out yet. I tend to think, of course, going back to the politician BS, I really think that's really the restriction is governments and politician. I'm sure there's some lobbyists from flight companies and airlines and stuff that have a say in that a little bit, right? Really think on paper we should have a high-speed rail in America, and you guys definitely should in Australia. That would be life-changing for sure. Steve brings up an interesting one. That question is easy to answer. A prime minister that is elected by the people, not replaced by the party. Again, I'm not going to go into politics a lot. I for one, don't know about your politics much, as well as I do American politics. And to be honest, I don't even know American politics because it all seems like a mess. Yeah, that does seem interesting to me because as an American, at least I think, your vote counts towards, someone you want to elect, a president that is elected by the people. So you vote for the president that you want to see in office. Whereas I'm pretty sure that I've heard in Australia, you vote for just the party. One of the nicest answers ever. He says, Australia needs a visit from IWrocker and my lovely family. Well, Mark, you are amazing. I really appreciate that. And I hope very, very soon, buddy, that we will be coming down because I'm gonna flip it the other way. I need you guys. I need more of you guys in my life. You guys are awesome. I need to see Australia on the ground, and I need to soak it all in and have a real reaction, like as in I'm gonna react to this stuff in person, and also meet you guys. You know, I would love to have meet and greets with a bunch of people, or just run into one of you guys at a bar or a restaurant or at a servo, whatever it is. Boros has a awesome answer here, another cool one. I just have to point out, they state we need Pedro to come over and go to a rodeo. Well, there you heard it, Pedro. Let's go to Australia, and we got to hit up a rodeo. I'd be down for that. I know he would. I think that'd be a hit. Peter has an interesting answer. He says, Arby's, one thing I really missed when I visited the U.S. one time. Dude, I got to agree with you. Arby's is awesome. We do thankfully have a lot of those all throughout the U.S., and I think they're extremely underrated. There's always like a lot of commercials, a lot of advertisements for Arby's, but you know, when I talk to people, I feel like in candid conversations, no one ever brings up Arby's when it's like, oh, what do you want to eat? Or, you know, if you talk about a good, you know, meal you had the other day. And Jim has a funny comment. He says, hey, bro, we need high-speed rail. Totally agree. Walmart, Popeyes, Whole Foods, and cheaper alcohol. This one is really interesting. This is the kind of answers that I really think are pretty fun because they're, you know, on a less serious note, but they're really, really fun. And Walmart. You know, everyone makes fun of Walmart, and you've probably heard of like the memes and the people of Walmart, like late night Walmart freaks and stuff. It's real. There's a lot of interesting characters there. But I have to admit, Walmart is really useful sometimes. I mean, it's a gigantic store. They almost have everything you could ever picture. And then Popeyes. I didn't know you guys didn't have Popeyes. Oh my God, Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen is, I think, around the whole U.S., and they are just amazing. And Whole Foods, I didn't know you guys didn't have Whole Foods either. I feel like Whole Foods would do well in Australia. Yeah, Whole Foods is pretty cool. I'm a casual fan, but my wife really loves Whole Foods, and I enjoy going if, you know, she wants to go and we go together. It is cool, and if you don't have them in Australia for real, I think Australia needs to get on Whole Foods for real. I think a lot of people would like it. And then cheaper alcohol. This one, yeah, I gotta agree with. Not saying alcohol is great, or yeah, you should never ever drink and drive, and never drink a lot because it's bad for your health. But yeah, if you want to just kick back and have a drink, or, you know, have a party or something, or celebrate a holiday, you know, I feel like it doesn't hurt to have a couple drinks, right, socially at home. And why spend an arm and a leg for alcohol? Treaty with the indigenous people. Amen to that. Aaron says free speech laws. Yeah, as an American, I'm going to agree with that. You have to have free speech. I'm surprised so many countries don't have free speech. Jim Clark, I'll swap with you. Jim Clark says right-hand drive American muscle cars. I'll agree. American muscle cars are absolutely incredible. That's one thing America definitely got right, was muscle cars. And I would love you guys to share that love as well, even more. And we need some more Aussie muscle cars, because there's been a lot of cool Australian iconic sports cars and muscle cars that I've learned about, and I would love if America had more of them. That would be great. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this dive into some interesting and fun topics that Australia doesn't really have, but needs in some people's opinions. Share your opinions down below. Do you agree with some of these? And if you have some original ideas that weren't mentioned here, please tell me down below. I think these are really fun, really cool community posts, and I'm glad we got some really cool answers. I love interacting with you guys, and I will be doing more of these. And if they turn out really fun like this, you know, we could always turn them into videos for the massive audience as well. So yeah, please tell me your thoughts down below, and throw a thumbs up on this. You guys like and find pretty fun interacting with everyone on the channel, and of course it will help the video out as well. Please subscribe. We're so close to 50K. Subscribe if you haven't already. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. With that being said, guys, check that description for ways you can interact with my channel. Additionally, my name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.